In our pre-game interviews, the players said it was going to be a fun series, and Game 1 in itself was such a delight to watch. Team Bliss, they were doing well. They had some good objectives taken for themselves, and Ground Zero, we had some question marks around them, but at the end of the day, Fido, all it takes is either a great dragon fight or a fantastic Baron steal, and you're back in it. In fact, it's enough for you to win the game.
Yeah, what an amazing, amazing game we watched. It was so back and forth, lots of emotions. But yeah, like you said, Tian, the big MVP of that game, that knock away of the Lilia at the Baron, securing the Baron steal. His teammates probably pinging his Smite. Smite is ready, but he's not on rage, he can't use it. So, and yeah, the game just felt like it went out of control for Team Bliss from there.
Yeah. The previous highlight that we were just watching as well, which, there was so much action in this game I actually forgot about, was Kisse using the package on Corki there, Skim, to be able to take down Harry's Yon. That also was a pretty big indicator that they're still in this. Not all hope is lost right now.
Yeah, and even then, they needed to send multiple members to take him down, but as soon as he got that first death, then it just became sort of lights out from that point onwards. You just see he's far too squishy, even with that shield bow. He dashes on in. If it's not Kisse killing him point blank with the rockets, it's then Lima shutting him on down. And I don't really think he was ever under enough threat to actually want to warrant his ultimate defensively, which is a big strength of wanting to try and drive Xayah, right? Be a little bit more self-sufficient, have that protection. You see in this occasion, he drags it back. But even then, right, it's a case of, well, you're going to go golden because you're squishier than me still. I can be 10 HP, but I'm still having an impact. So ultimately, they just had a little bit too many threats from all over the show.
Yeah, we're going to see in that gold difference. I always love highlighting it because it really does tell the story of the game. If you're only tuning into the last little bit, you might have thought that it was Ground Zero all the way, but it really wasn't. Team Bliss were having that advantage for so long. Kind of comes back to even, was that the third dragon, I feel? And then it was, I think it was, because then that was the Kisse getting the kill on Yon, and then it still goes back in favor of Bliss, and then you have the Baron fight, and everything from there just snowballs in favor of Ground Zero. So massive props to them. Some great damage being put out by the bot lane of Bliss, but also, like we said, Kisse there in the mid lane Fido.
Yeah, just a really entertaining game to watch, and I hope Game 2 brings more of the same, really.
What was the biggest downfall for Bliss? Like, I know that we said, it was really on Tian having this amazing poppy ult around Baron that started to snowball, but if you're Bliss, how do you make sure you're not in a situation like that? Or even if that situation happens, how can you sort of fight your way back in? Because, you had that advantage pre the Baron fight.
I think Fido kind of mentioned it briefly during the cast as well, right? You sort of said about the mid waves that they could have attended to, and they kind of rushed the Baron instead, thinking that, hey, it's a 4v5, there's no Malco, we can make this happen. Which in its own would sound like a good call in the heat of the moment, right? But then you've kind of forgotten that Poppy is this champion that beats your whole comp with a basic ability and then absolutely destroys you with that ultimate. I don't think they kind of expected that kind of brash ballsiness from Tian, given his current state of affairs. But he went in, he made the play, says, forget where I'm at. Laning-wise, my champ's built to do one thing, and now we're just going to snowball the game back in our favor.
Yeah. How do you call it back if you are Bliss, the fighter?
I think they just need to be a little bit more clear on what they want to do. We saw their troubles start from the very first. I think Rift Herald, there was a Void Grubs where Lucian just, maybe it was Void Grubs where Lucian was just walking bot lane, and Why Not was just dancing around the Void Grubs, like he was just looking for angles. I'm like, there's no angles, bro. It's 4v5. Your Lucian doesn't want to come. So it felt like they were not on the same page there. Right. And there's again no wrong, no right answer. They just need to commit to doing one thing. And it was the same thing at the Baron, right? It just felt like some people wanted to finish the Baron, but then maybe somebody was saying, guys, we have to turn, or they're running at us, help. So yeah, maybe if they'll be a little bit more on the same page, they have a better chance in Game 2.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing for Game 2 is not only those learnings that you're able to take from Game 1, and if you're good enough, make those quick adjustments, it's going to be the side swap up too. So we have the Game 1 draft below us. Game number 2, Bliss is going to be on that blue side for themselves. So any key things when you look here, Skim, where it's like, okay, maybe that needs to be taken out for game number 2, or more we really want to let it through in the hopes that we're able to pick it up for ourselves in game number 2? Either team.
I feel as if Bliss will be looking at that Poppy a little bit rent-free. It's a bit of a TN special. I know he played it a lot top lane in seasons gone by here in the LCO. I think you'd look at that one and say the fact that you can pick it up this early on without a care in the world, and we can draft the comp into it where we've self-countered. I think if Bliss want to play with this level of aggression and sort of foot-forward nature, then Poppy obviously puts a lot of stopping to that. So I wouldn't be too shocked if they would have kind of changed their attention that they've done, what, 5 bans towards Limes, and he's still absolutely smashed them with 10 kills. They might look to say, maybe Limes is not the problem. Maybe we need to, you know, change our approach for game 2.
Yeah, yeah. I also remember, Fido, you talking about that. What did Team Bliss kind of want to prioritize? Is it going to be that Nami? Is it going to be that Azir? Do you also feel that going for the support pick in the first phase maybe was a factor into their game 2, and that the Nami could have been replaced into something else? All with hindsight, obviously.
Well, I think that the Lucian Nami is the issue, right? If Milio's banned and you lock in Lucian, there's no reason not to lock in Nami there, because you kind of have to lock Nami on 3 anyway. Like, you basically you have to lock in Nami on R3, so you might as well lock it on R2, and then on R3 you could pick Cassandra if you still want it, or maybe you could pick the Azir if you saw the Corki, because we saw the Yone. Like, we can talk about itemization. Like, it is, if you itemize better, I think you'd have a better time. He did have a really good time in that matchup. He was plus 20, plus 30. We weren't saying Harry's name towards the end of that game, but he played the early game perfectly.
Yeah.
But it didn't work out for them, so maybe they want to go for something different. Maybe Yone is not the play for Team Bliss, and if that's the case, they have to let themselves, you know, pick mid in the first 3 potentially.
Yeah, that's actually a really valid point. Maybe try and have your opponent reveal more as to what they're playing, because you know you're going to play one of those 2 supports. That's a really good combo with Lucian. So I like that insight, Five. We'll see what is going to be the change when those side selects do happen, but we want to hear from you guys at home. From the fans this week, we said if you could ban a champion from your enemy team having it, but it meant that you had to have it on your team, which champion would you be banning or deny picking, I guess, in a
I'm banning Tristana.
Tristana.
If I ban Tristana, I didn't have Fido on my team. He gets to play the Tristana, and then it's just an auto win.
I feel like we have to like draft what we want our 5 stack to be, and then we say, because he said the cat.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. That's there. No one ever wants to come again. I feel like Yuumi is the only champion that doesn't follow the rule of, like, you know, on the enemy team it's 7-0 and on your team it's 0-7. Yuumi is just 7-0 no matter whose team. So I all for the Yuumi ban. Yeah, or the deny.
But what if you have the skimmy AFK Yuumi? Then you don't win it on your team, do you? Then you're in trouble.
Win that? I love this anecdote, by the way. But
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure we did win it. I'm pretty sure it was an ARAM actually.
Oh,
now
so
that I remember.
Fine.
What was Rusty playing? It was like Riven or Udyr or some kind of bruiser, and I was just sat on his head, just giving him all the buffs in the world, like 5 like aura items, and I'm like, just win me the game, bro. And he's just like in all chat whilst ghosting down lane with a snowball, like 1v9 mechanics maxing, like he's trying to like draft himself as a pro player. And I'm like, you get it, bro. Relax, relax. I'm just pressing like my E.
He's making a showreel for himself.
Have your shield, have your heal. Look, guys, these hands still work. I'm an old boomer, but like I can still play game. And yeah, look, the cat's annoying.
It's very, very annoying. Yeah, I don't mind that one. I mean, the best case scenario is it's on neither team, but I would prefer it on my team for sure. I believe we have another from the fans as well. Maybe another submission here. All right, we got Grit. He said Azir, because not everyone in the world is Fido. That's
very true. Very true. I stand by that statement. I love that. Big fan.
So, Fido, tell me a little bit why we're not seeing enough Azir and Cassiopeia.
Well, Cassio will be strong next patch. Rod and Seraph's getting double buffed, so we'll see definitely Cassio in the next patch. But I don't know why we don't see Azir. Like, strong champ. He's getting nerfed. Like,
that's why.
He's yeah, exactly. True. Right. Like, people, it's the Nocturne syndrome. Like, if people just pick Nocturne Orianna 1, 2, 3, then we will see a Nocturne Orianna. But if you don't pick it, then we won't see it because one of them will be banned.
Is this what's going to happen? You're going to leave us from the broadcast. A new patch is going to come out. Cassiopeia's meta. You're going to get subbed into a team midway through the split. Okay, I understand. I understand now. It all makes sense.
In the back pocket for him.
That's the script, Skimmy. You got it.
We do have time for one more from the fans. So don't forget, you guys can tweet at LCO with your answers here. Halo, he said Nidalee. That's an interesting one. Nidalee is very like the 1%, you know? Not that many people actually know how to play her that well, and not many people are really picking her up, but maybe if you're a Nidalee player, that's the one.
What did somebody say? I think somebody said that you need like a license to pilot this champion because not everybody can play Nidalee. Like you're either good or you're crap.
Yeah, I wouldn't want a Nidalee on my team. That's a recipe for disaster. They come mid.
You have just triggered a memory in my brain, Skimmy. When we played an ARAM, but we were on opposite teams, and I was playing Nidalee. And so
yes!
do you remember this?
And I was catching the spears. I was legit like, the spear's going here, and I'd be like, I'm here. It's oh wait, no, the other way. It's here. And I'm like, well done, Nat. And you're like, you
Yep.
make me feel so good. I'm like,
Yeah.
you hit that spear, bro. Well done.
Yeah, I definitely did not. But it made me feel good. And you know what? That memory now lives rent-free in my head. I'll never forget it, Skim. But hopefully we can make some more memories on this broadcast because we do have a second game in this best of 2 between Team Bliss and Ground Zero just after the break.
Yeah. B sound real playful. Let's see what I do on it though. Give me all your money, I want all your pockets. I don't do no cuffing, ain't no need to lock it. We been going up and we don't need a rocket. Pop it, spicy mommy like wasabi. Only talk about me, I'm a trending topic. If you ain't tryna finish, then don't even start it. Whoa. Got them lifting off, yeah, give me that rocket. While I pop it, spicy mommy like wasabi. High class, fine ass. Hustler, double C's on my bag. Rich trips just to make the time pass. Sip, go get him a wine glass. Talking about me, I don't even listen to him. Your diamonds ain't real unless they gotta glisten to him. Don't be posting on the gram, but they follow me. If I had a stick, I bet you he would swallow me. When a billionaire, that's a lot of biz. If I smack a chick, that's a lot of sleep. Got money like your girl, hit the lottery. And my ass real, yours clay, that's pottery. Stop it, please. Give me all your money, I want all your pockets. I don't do no cuffing, ain't no need to lock it. We been going up and we don't need a rocket. Pop it, spicy mommy like wasabi. Only talk about me, I'm a trending topic. If you ain't tryna finish, then don't even start it. Got them lifting off, yeah, give me that rocket. Pop it, spicy mommy like wasabi. You know I make it hot like wasabi. Make it hot, yeah. You know I make it hot like wasabi. Spicy. You know I make it hot like wasabi. Yeah, get it. You know I make it hot like wasabi. Winning got it made, I don't make my own bed. No. Don't be in the kitchen, but I make my own bread. Whoa. Blowing on my phone, now I leave them on red. I'm not the one, period. Write it on in red. I'm not your man, keep me out your mouth. Whoa. If he acting up, kick him out my house. I'm a hot girl, cousin from the south. Said you got a lot of money, need a large amount, and I can make it bounce. Give me all your money, I want all your pockets. I don't do no cuffing, ain't no need to lock it. We been going up and we don't need a rocket. Pop it, spicy mommy like wasabi. Only talk about me, I'm a trending topic. If you ain't tryna finish, then don't even start it. Got them lifting off, yeah, give me that rocket. While I pop it, spicy mommy like wasabi. You know I make it hot like wasabi.
Here's the reason that Kevy's after becomes the Varus. Forced out of the stopwatch, it's carnage! They're all charmed at ease, come on! Oh, kaboom! It's do or die! Welcome back to the LCO, where we are certainly getting pretty spicy mommy like wasabi, because it was a pretty spicy game there, Fido. Game number 1, Baron after Baron after Baron after denial, in which you say, how have we lost this game for Bliss? We could talk about the draft, we could talk about the itemization, but ultimately, we can just flip side, go blue side and say, let's give it a gentleman's agreement, like a little handshake like this. Let's make it a 1-4-1-A, and then you could be happy. You could be the big brain analysis that came in and said, look, I know everything. I'm an ex-pro. Bang.
Yeah, that's it. My prediction is still alive. Your prediction is unfortunately deceased, Skimmy. But that's okay. We're jumping in straight into the draft. We've got the Jace ban from Team Bliss. Very interesting. I'm not sure if they did that in the previous game. That's not a champion we see very often. Perhaps they don't want to see the Jace Maokai comes in. That's my only guess. They banned Lilia themselves as well. This was a champion that Why Not just played, but he's banned Lilia. And the Varus ban comes out as well. And more standard bans, I think, from the side of Ground Zero. The Santa Seraphine, the Milio, and the Orianna gone.
It certainly has been, and with the sides switching around, it does actually alleviate the need to ban away the Ashe. Instead, that means that Bliss will say, we'll lock it in. Benvi, we know you absolutely adore this champion. No chance for locking that one. We deny the Varus, so there will be no trade-off between we get the Ashe and you get the Varus. So Ground Zero to consider, okay, what's the most important here? Do we need range? Do we need scaling? Or do we just lock in Corki on our first pick, which they do in fact do?
Yeah, lots of priority on the Corki. Had success in the previous game, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it, Skimmy. They've locked in 2 of the same 5 champions, and that's the other thing about locking in Ashe against a notorious Ashe player. I'd imagine Benvi knows exactly what the strengths and the weaknesses are of the champion, and has a good idea of what he wants to play here.
Yeah, you'd love to see them pretty aggressive rather than sort of this stalemate of like who can scale better with the Enchanter support to really bolster their team as a whole. Diana comes out. Oh, Diana Yasuo. Okay.
Wow.
Well, Bliss have really said we've had enough of what happened in game one. Forget the Poppy. We want even more dive potential.
That is crazy because they're just going to lock in Poppy on 3 and the game is kind of over. A very interesting decision from Team Bliss to pick double dash into R3 Poppy. That is crazy to me, Skimmy. Absolutely crazy to me. We'll also point out that Ashe support has no synergy with Diana Yasuo outside of Hogshot. There's no knockups. It's not a frontline champ. It's not an engaged champ. And neither is Diana Yasuo, right? Diana Yasuo doesn't really want to go in first unless you get that jump on the backline. If it's a front-to-back team fight, you can't really play. So very dangerous dangerous drafting from Team Bliss here.
It certainly is, and I guess it begs the question even more so. Why was the Poppy not banned as their reaction going into this draft, right? And to your point as to what can the Ashe accomplish? Well, they denied away the Kalista pairing, so there is no extra CC provided by the Kalista ultimate. Sure, the Ashe ult can certainly be impactful to start things off, but you'd be expecting a strong tanky response from, say, Biopanther to try and lead the line to get the ball rolling. As for them, what are they trying to deny? Well, any champions with escape tools, I suppose. Xayah obviously phenomenal with the ultimate like we saw last game. Doesn't even matter if it's not being used defensively. Lemus was far too good on that champion. So we might just see a common trend here where every AD carry under the sun gets taken off the board.
Yeah, Xayah, great ban. Definitely the one champ that Yasuo Diana doesn't want to play against. Another champion would be Ezreal. So we'll see if that's a second ban for Team Bliss. And the Kalista, banned by Ground Zero, that is a champion that can make Ashe into a knockup champ. So good choice from Ground Zero. The Jhin is an interesting one. Again, doesn't really have any synergy with the rest of the Bliss champions, but perhaps thinking that it's just a very strong pairing with the Ashe. And we'll see what Bliss ban. They need to ban another safe AD carry. I'm thinking Ezreal, Skimmy. Ezreal makes the most sense for Ground Zero. It's a very safe pick. They go for the Bard instead. That's interesting. It is a good pick into Yasuo Diana because Yasuo gets stuck in that ultimate and the animation for quite a while, and you can just chuck down the Bard ult and you know, interrupt the engage altogether.
Yeah, we saw it yesterday, right? We actually saw Tempered Fate disrupt so much of that dive potential. We kind of sort of you know, loitering around for a couple of seconds thinking, how has it gone so pear-shaped? So I like the Bard ban. These are some really you know, heads-up plays, but it still brings into question just how much value that this Poppy can look to try and accomplish. And with all these bans taken into consideration, we still managed to get a 4th pick on the Philios.
Yeah, I think Lemus is perfectly happy with that. That's one of the champions that he started his career with. He was playing a lot of Draven, of course, Draven in the very old days, but once he started to get into competitive, he was playing Aphelios, he was playing Jinx. That was the Aphelios Jinx meta. He played a lot of Xayah. So I think he's fairly happy with what he's got his hands on this game. And Bliss deciding to go for a carry top laner, Aatrox. I mean, you might as well just pick more dive. You've already committed into it. But again, I mean, this is another dash champ into Poppy.
Yeah, this is a concern. I mean, I was wondering if there's ever a world in which you say, you know what, I'll play like the Ornn or, you know, something along the lines of like a Gragas perhaps, where he's saying, here's some knock-up potential in the top lane. Let's go from there. But they've really said, let's go all in from this point on. Now, if a Lulu gets locked in, I would be left scratching my head completely still. Okay. What are these lane assignments? Are we having a laning Yasuo perhaps? Or perhaps even an AD carry Ashe?
Yeah, it's got to be the AD carry Ashe. They've decided that they need a different support with this mid-jungle pairing. But again, I guess the Lulu ult does make sense. So now you can have this Aatrox engage where he sort of flashes into the mid of the enemy team, knocks somebody up, and then gets another knock-up from the Lulu ult. So we do have knock-ups aplenty for Bliss, but we don't have a clear frontline champ. And when we look at Ground Zero, Renata, oh my god, that is the perfect champion. That had to be a ban for Team Bliss. I completely forgot about it, but that is the disengaged champ into Yasuo. You get the revive through, and the Yasuo just dies 1-for-1, and then sort of the whole game plan falls apart for Bliss.
You sort of look at the Jace ban now and wish that was the Renata instead, right? Because, you know, the Lilia, the Xayah, the Bard, they all make sense, but it feels like this is one that sort of slipped through the cracks. You thought, shit, how have we let this Renata get through? Like, that actually just counters our comp. As if the Poppy wasn't scary enough as it was already. You've now got to take that into consideration. And I almost think, like, Bliss have made this composition, which is so complex in its execution. Sure, you could say it's just knock up and sort of kill, but there's so many more moving parts to this, right? There's a high degree of you've got to be on the point here because Ground Zero is stock standard. It will get the job done, and I think they could almost cruise with this one, asking Bliss, you've got to make the first move because, I mean, you're on a bit of a timer here.
Yeah, 100%. If Ground Zero have the setup, there's just no way for Bliss to retake it. There's too many champions that can stand in front of you and stop you from walking in. There's the Maokai saplings, the Renata ult if you group up. But one thing we do have to say for Team Bliss is that this Renata is not a good lane into Lulu. So this Ashe Lulu definitely should win lane. Should have prio into Renata Aphelios. And then you've got a fast farming, flash farming jungler and Diana who can also go for invades into Maokai. So you've got winning bot and you've got winning jungle for Bliss. And they really have to make the most out of the early game, make some progress, get a lead to win this game.
We can certainly hope so, because it's a comp that's built to try and snowball, and if it certainly doesn't achieve that, then it is going to look like a bit of a wet noodle, going to look like a lost chicken, I suppose you could say, running around the paddock thinking, what is going on? How have we ended up here? We've given the viewers what they want, something exciting, something to try and hype up this match of the week. And it hasn't come to full effect. Either way, though, it's going to be an exciting one at that. Ground Zero currently leading this series 1-0. They'll be hoping to close this one out with a bang as well and justify that they are back. They've taken down one of the hottest rivals for the split, and they are back in contention. This would, in fact, tie them at a 2-0 with the same amount of points as Bliss. So there's a lot on the line here.
Yeah, Benvi looking to get a ward on the Raptors perhaps, but it is very dangerous into Ashe, one of the best level 1 champions with lethal tempo and the AoE slow. And yeah, Ground Zero a little bit scary here. I wouldn't be doing this as a perma slow on Ashe.
Yeah, look at that. Benvi down at 50% already.
He's dead.
Flash from Violet. He's just going to run him down and say you're completely slowed. Where do you go? You burnt Flash. You burnt heal. Laning already sucks. And now you've No. Yes. Holy. For a second there, Fido. For a second. I thought he was going to walk away.
Nah, that's an unforgivable mistake. I mean, just loading into the game, you see Ashe on the enemy team, you just don't go in there. Like, if you make one misstep, you walk too close to her. She just, like you saw, she spaces perfectly. It's Violet. Of course he's going to space it out perfectly. He's going to hit you. Then when you try to hit him, he'll walk away, and then he'll walk back in and hit you, and you're getting really frustrated, you know? So yeah, great job from Team Bliss and Lemus 1v2, dropping XP in this lane. We said that in an even lane, this is already winning for Lulu Ashe, but now this is a first blood Ashe with XP lead and complete wave control.
Yeah, really makes things completely shaken up as a result. You know already how much of a disaster it could be. And
that's nice.
That is nice. Same in the bot lane, because look what Bliss are doing here.
Well, I mean, I guess when you think about range versus melee mid as well, right? You're thinking the range champ should win. And it might be the case for Corki Yone, but it's definitely not the case for Corki Yasuo, because Yasuo's got that shield, which is effective health, right? Constantly regenning, constantly giving him health regen, because when he goes for the trade, he loses nothing with his shield. And once he gets that wind wall, level 3 is when the danger comes in, because all of Corki's abilities, every single spell except for his E, gets blocked.
Well, that's a really good point. You mentioned the wind wall, and just thinking about it now we've had a bit of a longer time to consider these compositions. I suppose that really is their only lifeline into this Renata ultimate, right? Is the wind wall goes up, you pray that it finds infinite value, much like this Poppy did with their denial of mobility and knockbacks.
Well, it absolutely does, Kimmy. It does have infinite value because it blocks both. They have 2 damage threats. They have Corki, Aphelios. The wind wall blocks Corki ult, it blocks Corki Q, it blocks Aphelios ult, it blocks Aphelios autos. But most importantly, the wind wall blocks Poppy Hammer, right? You can actually block somebody getting knocked out. You can also block Maokai ult. We've got a dive coming in.
We certainly do have a dive as he gets knocked up. Harry just tanks 2 autos and says it really is as easy as that, boys. And I couldn't really ask for a better start here for Bliss, right? They've got the early invade and got all this pressure in bot lane, and now their mid jungle has come online.
Yeah, and that's just great positioning from Why Not, right? Just right place, right time. Might be the case of that again.
Certainly could be, as Lemus is going to flash. What a good... Oh, and he's dodged the Crescent as well. Lemus, you mad lad. He's outplayed his former teammates.
Yeah, that was a little bit poor from Why Not. Don't do that, mate. It's all good. Just let it go. A bit of compensation there, and yeah, that's not the best from Why Not at the end there, right? Because he gets so low, so it should be quite obvious that he has to base soon. For Shermfire, giving him a little bit of agency, feeling more free on the map, knowing that Diana's resources are low. But yeah, I'm not sure if we'll look at the replay, but as a Diana player myself, really there, you just have to flash Q. And if he flashes your Q, you just eat a follow, and you'll be sweet.
You've lost to the moon shape, I suppose.
Yeah.
You're no longer a fan of nighttime, you much prefer the sun.
Exactly right, Skimmy. And yeah, I think a little bit of a missed opportunity, but at the end of the day, you know, no harm, no foul, no gold, really given up for that play. And look at how aggressive Harry is, just because he knows that even if the Maokai ganks him, he just slaps down the wind wall and takes no damage 1v2. It's already gotten to that stage. You know, we were saying Yona's comfortable in the 1v2. That was a 2 items, that was a 1.5 items. You know, level 11 Skimmy. Harry's already 1v2ing at level 5.
Well, exactly right. I mean, with a minion wave there, he's in your face taunting you, saying, I can dash all over the show. You wouldn't dare try and make something happen. I'll tell you what, if Harry wins this one, he's gone for the full solo queue demon time, hasn't he? From Yone to Yasuo on stage.
Oh, bad timing. Really bad timing for Shenfai there. Not sure who got it, but looks like Why Not did. Just very unlucky for Shenfai. I mean, Why Not could see the camp before he was spotted himself. No flash.
He doesn't have any flash because he burnt a price. He's going to get punished. Even if he does steal that camp, is it going to really be worth? That's the question right now. The polymorph comes out. Shenfai receives that summoner heal, and the bailout has to be flashed away from because Harry was in trouble, so that times out, and Violet gets kill number 2.
Yeah, this is the kind of skirmish that you want to see, and there we just had Why Not dying before anybody was even close. So that was a 3v4, and Team Bliss still walk away with a kill back, and that's just the strength of this lethal tempo Yasuo in those skirmishes, right? He just stacks it up, gets multiple shields in one fight, and yeah, he's an absolute menace when it comes to those jungle fights.
Certainly is. You can see him there stepping up to the wave ever so cautiously, but knowing that those shields will be available. So we look at bot lane instead, and somehow, some way, Scott is dead. But Violet is so low that he's not going to try and take on 2 at once. So he gets 1. Times out that bailout again, and Benvi realizes that I could be the second one on the chopping block, so disengages as well.
Yeah, Skimmy. I think because he has that big bounty you can see in the bottom left, he was a little bit afraid to go for Benvi, but no flash on Benvi there. If he was confident that the bailout wasn't going to proc, he could just keep ignoring Limas and walking towards Benvi there, getting the double kill, but decides to play it safe. A very favorable 1-for-1, right? Trading your support for the 80 carry is a good time to do. Let's see what happens here. Scott maybe steps up a little bit too far.
Has to be a Graviton. Yeah, Graviton handshake.
Nah, I think Scott really played that fine. It's just he knows that if, you know, in order to kill him, they have to flash forward, and if they flash forward, then that's just a freebie for Violet there with the amount of health that he has, and Scott's more than happy with that trade. I think that was a calculated bait in his mind. So yeah, the bottom lane of Ground Zero couldn't be asking for more this game.
No, certainly when it's allowed Violet to preserve both of his summoners, continue to have this bounty accrue, and ultimately try and get a really strong laning phase. That means he's not having to deal with a 10-kill, 80 carry opponent this time around, right? So the Ashe is online.
Oh, it is online, and it's got a red buff, Skimmy, and there's no flash on Lima, so if one auto attack hits him, he's just dead. You know, he's just going to get chased down, run down. Oh, the red buff actually ends up timing out, which is a little bit of a saving grace, but still just such a big lead. Noonquiver boots into Dagger longside. If you look at the total gold spent, it must be like 1.5k lead for Lima, something crazy like that, and for Violet, I mean, and yeah, Shenfai just quietly trying to get his level 6. I think that's when we see Ground Zero trying to make some progress in this game. Once the Maokai ult comes out, we do still have no flash on the Yasuo. Perhaps he might look mid for a play to punish.
It's only as a consideration because you can see Harry still continues to step up. Once again, going in aggressively, has no flashes, just burnt the wind wall. Knock up,
oh my god!
Rev, take him down! He's just at a range of the Q, which may have been lethal. But it's not to be. It's Kisei actually does still fall on down. Both junglers getting involved and both picking up the kill.
Yeah, but this is the consistent theme in this game. You know, we've got the jungler dying and the mid profiting. We've got the support dying and the AD profiting. The ult hits. Should be okay. Yeah, very dangerous there. A little bit. I think he thought that he had a few more minions there, but maybe the Maokai Q actually knocked him out of the tower and forced him to take a few turret shots. The ult.
Oh, he's trying to Crystal Arrow right underneath the tower. Oh, just at a range as Limas from getting taken down. Flash for flash. Dodge the auto attack range. Lose vision for a second. And now figure out how do we do this underneath the tower. Scott says, I'll sacrifice. Heal.
Nice.
And a shield. And it's just barely enough.
Yeah, look, for a role swap player, I had a lot of questions coming in about Scott, but that's just, you know, cold-blooded gameplay, just confidence. He's one tower shot away from dying, 10 HP left to survive, and he still goes for the dive. Very confident, very calm, not using any summoners. He had the flash heal there, Skimmy, but just calculated it to the single digit.
Look, I think we asked about it for game 1. Did Violet predict it? Did he calculate it? We see it in game number 2. This bot lane, they're just math majors.
Yeah, absolutely are, and surprised that Limos doesn't die here. Very unlucky for Violet. I think if instead of auto-attacking the Renata there and running out to drop the Tower Aggro, he went for the Aphelios. Could have been a double kill, but still, you know, look at this wave, Skimmy. That's almost a double wave there and an extra one that's denied. 70 to 34 CS. You would think this was a bug in pro play, but unfortunately this is just the reality of the bot lane we live in.
This does feel like a bit of a Violet masterclass right now. You've awoken the beast. He's angry from game one. How he went so pear-shaped against them, but he's found a way back in. And it's good to see, because I was curious to sort of see what build would come out from this Ashe. Would it be, say, the on-hit with the Rage Blade, Wit's End, and so on, or are we going to get the more you know, Trinity Force Cracker Slayer variation, which seems to be where we're headed. And by that point, I mean, yeah, the ability to shred down these tanks is going to be second to none.
Deja vu, why not coming for this Gromp invade again? Last time didn't work out for him that well. We'll see if it goes differently this time. There's no Dragon to play for, really, just the Void Grub's up and available. So Team Bliss, understandably, do want to play around their Ashe. She is the strongest member of the team right now, but seeing as Why Not is able to cancel the recall here, be absolutely annoying. Should just be a free Void Grubs going over to Team Bliss.
Seems to be. With free to name already, they'll be pretty happy to get this one as a freebie. And why not? I mean, at this point,
why not?
Pun included. Why not? Would you not want to do that? Ground Zero just have nothing really to answer back with, right? In terms of a trade, look at a lane where they got priority. It does not exist. So much like Bliss in game one, they just have to watch it.
Absolutely, Skimmy. Oh, looks like they're not watching.
Well, they were watching for a second, and then they said, you know what, actually, let's go in and see what happens, because they've actually found nothing at this stage, unless Kisei can salvage something with the package. He'll take down Why Not. Can he find much more than that? No, because Schönfei's really disengaged away. They're sapling across the wall, but Kisei takes down Harry, but no! One final dash, an empowered Q, and that's lights out for the Poppy.
Harry's just so good, Skimmy. We'll look at it in the replay, but just such a smart player. He's thinking 2-3 steps in advance there. The Maokai insta-flashes the wall, and Harry has flash, but he doesn't follow him because he just understands that if he kills Corki, it's a better kill. It's a higher value kill. He denies TS. And we see the engage coming out from ground zero. They've got the package advantage, but it's just this Yasuo and skirmish. This Q from Harry is just beautiful because otherwise he can't get to the Maokai. There's a package in the way, but he forces the Maokai flash, saves his own flash, doesn't greed for the jungle kill and give up his Aatrox's life, gets the Kisei kill, and yeah, just a huge win for Team Bliss again.
Certainly is. And as we come out of the replay, they continue their dominance. Tim's going to pop his head in one more time, say hello, but he's realized that everything's gone by this point. He's going to do a lot of damage considering the build. Not very commonly do you see a Poppy go for the Thunder Sky, but that's a power spike. That means it's a charge, and it is potentially lethal. And Harry, I think, has only just discovered that, hey, this Poppy does hurt. He's forced to flash away. Tien's on the hunt, and he gets his first kill of the game.
Yeah, it's crazy. The Thunder Sky build, I was scratching my head game one, but he just does so much damage. It feels like he just does the E auto attack combo and he half health someone with this build, and he's still just this tanky, gives him a little bit of sustain. So yeah, Poppy Power Spike coming in, salvaging a little bit for ground zero, you know. That's 1k gold, cord back, still a 3k lead, but baby steps to victory.
It certainly is baby steps, because you've still got to take into consideration that this bot lane is an absolute nightmare. This Ashe won't have any mobility, and nor will Why Not, as he gets caught out in the mid lane. Kisei very low as a juicy bait target, but unable to capitalize even with the Moonfall.
Yeah, it feels a little bit random what's happening on the map, Skimmy. Like, there's nothing to play for some reason. Why Not just tries to punish, you know, Kisei for greeting his base. We talked about it. Kisei loves greeting his bases. He loves staying for one extra wave when he probably shouldn't. But it works out for him because he's just so sharp mechanically. So sometimes you just got to let him do it. Don't try to challenge him in that. Don't try to 50-50 it. Just let him greed and do your own thing. You've got heaps of camps up as Diana, right? There's no reason to take the risk there. You can just continue doing your own farm, prioritize gold on yourself. You're in a winning position. Make sure that you've spent your gold before the next objective, which is the Rift Herald that we see spawning now.
Absolutely. And speaking of those item spike objectives, then Blade of the Rune King has just been completed now by Harry. You can see the Cracker Slayers there from Violet. So no surprises, Bliss are incredibly strong, but it has been an easier game for Why Not to try and navigate, right? He can be an aggressive carry style jungler. He's got no real fear of being invaded. All the lanes have been working in their favor. And you can just look from top to bottom, and there are advantages across the board, even despite Harry falling down prior to Kisei there. Speak of, those two will be involved in claiming this one. And I think for me, I'm actually quite curious to see where they decide to use this one, because you'd imagine that bot lane tower is going to fall on its own. So is it as simple as saying mid lane is the go-to, or would they even open an invitation for bio top?
I could go any which way, Skimmy. All of these towers are fairly low. I'd say the mid lane one is the hardest to get with this Rift Herald. The thing you have to also remember is that Rift Herald has to kill the tower with its charge to get a reset now, right? So you probably want to go for one of the low HP towers and then threaten the tier 2 as well. I think the biggest concern for me is, here we go, Harry fighting.
Oh, why not use that moment to try and jump into the fight as a result, instantly flashing across that Nature's Advance. Oh no, it's not enough! Schönfire managed to get it. He's burnt him down, and the saplings have been there. And now, it's a roaming Aphelios! It's Aphelios jungle! He rocks up the top lane, drops an ult, and says, that's me.
Oh, this is a Lima. This is what happens in my Solica games when Limas gets sick of his support player. He just sends it to another lane. You know what I'm saying? It's good. Genfire in trouble.
Schönfire is in trouble. He has flashed in about 5 seconds. It's at 5 seconds too late! It is!
Oh.
He burnt it as soon as it came off cooldown, but it didn't prevent death from knocking.
Yeah, I think it's definitely better to save your flash there on Schönfire, right? Because if you die there, you know, if you survive there on 1 HP, you're still not really in a position to do anything. You're still going to base. And this flash is just so crucial for them to get on this massive Ashe. 700 gold bounty, that could have been a very high value summoner spell, but you know, panics a little bit, tries to get away, tries to preserve his own life. All in vain though, Skimmy.
Certainly was, and unfortunately for them, it just continues to fuel the fire, which is incredibly strong Team Bliss members. This was a comp that we said had to snowball. Very, very hard for them to get themselves back into this game if they were from behind, especially if Grand Zero were able to assert themselves a strong position in the river.
Oh.
There goes the arrow. Thumbs up from Limas. I'm sure that's what we're all feeling right now. Good effort, good try, but not to be successful.
Yeah, look, a little bit of at least a smile on Limas' face from that one. There's something going their way. It felt like this game as the Aphelios has been quite depressing for him, and really all Team Bliss need to do is tell Why Not that he is not the main character. Why Not just needs to chill back and let his teammates start the fight. Let his teammates do the work. Do nothing. Your teammates are winning every single lane. Your job is just to grab every single objective on the map and keep up on the farm. That's it.
Be a passenger, keep farming, grab those objectives, make us stronger. Seemingly the sort of takeaway from that one, as we do see some split pushing occurring. Harry, at the moment, working his magic in the top lane. Out goes the package, merely just to try and trim their way, but I think Kisei instant regrets as he runs right back to the tower and just is about to die! The volley's not enough, the shielding! As well as the summoner heal coming out in the nick of time, and then Bio actually just walks in and steals the dragon! He's stolen the dragon, now in their face with the World Interactive is saying, I'll take you both on.
Wait, how is that possible, Skimmy? There is a double execute on Malka. There's the Q execute, and then there's also the Smite execute, and a lonely Aatrox with one item has stolen that dragon. Love to see what exactly happened there. There's no Poppy Hammer, no real easy way to knock Schönfire out, so I'm not sure what could have caused it outside of just a bad Smite, I guess.
It can't get any worse than that though, can it, Fatu? You're losing in a 4v5 again. I mean, this seems to be a bit of a Bliss special. They just win without the numbers. Harry's taking a tower top lane, and then you're just sneaking a dragon away?
What? How's this possible? What's going on? This seems completely secure. Thean is also convinced that this is secure, and then Biopanther just goes in and... Oh, he smited Aatrox! Oh my god. That is hilarious. Yeah, look, that's happened to me many times on jungle as well. What you got to do, right, is you got to zoom your screen in a little bit with the middle mouse button, and then it's going to be easier to not misclick on the champion. But that's definitely happened in the past. Very unfortunate there for Schönfire. Hilarious for us, but very sad for him.
Bro's on the tech of standing on a ward and saying good luck clearing this one. It's not going to happen. It's just not possible. That really is, worst case scenario. And you get exposed on a stage game, right? It's definitely not a good feeling, but ultimately for Bliss, they'll be thinking, well, 5k goal. This has been the perfect game from start to finish. This is the early game we try and strive for.
Yeah, but we can't count Ground Zero out because we do still have this Poppy, right? Poppy's having a good game, and Poppy does counter basically every champion here except for Ashe. And unfortunately, Ashe is the most fed champion, so it might not matter in the end, but there's always a way back in. It just needs to be a good Poppy Hammer, knock out a person from Team Bliss, and start a 45.
Let's see if it starts now as they look to try and jump in. Schönfire goes in with that twist advance. Cops an Ashe ult to the face as a result of that one. And the hostile takeover really leaving a lot left to be desired there. Not much to be found from it, and it's just allowed Team Bliss to stay healthy. Why not jumps in with the 3-man move forward, but it does no damage. In comes Bio, ultimate active. He says it's my time now to try and be the raid boss, to laser beam these people down. But even he is feeling the pressure of being surrounded by so many strong members that he's forced to flash too.
Yeah, why not just keeps thinking that he's fed because he sees the gold bounties on his screen, but he is the weakest member of his team right now. He's level 10, everybody else is level 13 in terms of the solo laners. He's maybe even weaker than the Maokai, right? Because he's building full damage items. His Seeker's arm guard is broken. So he needs to be really careful. Like I said, second engage, Harry.
I mean, he's even more careful right now as he flashes away, bringing Schönfire on a massive journey through to that mid-tier 1, enough to try and stay alive though as he limps away with the rest of his team. Ready to offer a little bit of assistance. Tien charging up the hammer, decides to cancel it in the end as they are out of range, but Bliss are keeping them in the mid lane for the meantime. They've got Biopen for split pushing bot lane. He's got a TP if called upon, but they're just keeping Ground Zero always forced to respond to these waves.
Was that a poppy mechanic that I'm not aware of, Skimmy? If you press base, it cancels your ultimate, maybe like Ryze does? Because it looked like he was charging the ult, and then it takes a little while to cancel it, but he pressed recall and it just immediately cancelled it, so that could have been a nice play there. Corki, stun.
Certainly could be out. Yeah, Kiste very lucky to be alive there. Super low, but not enough from Biopen to offer any kind of execution from that Ashe ult. With this second chance to try and prevent this wave from falling on down. Does put a bit of a span on the works here for Bliss to try and open up the siege, but Schönfire jumps in. Bramble smashes him back, stun up against the wall from the Poppy, but Tien realizes that's not the play, and that's not the target. And Bliss finally get rewarded for all their pressure.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's happening there. Schönfire kind of walked back in when Kiste's 1 HP. Nothing was ever going to happen there, right? And then Tien walked back in to help Schönfire, who walked back in. So it's just a comedy of errors, you know, like it's compensation. Of one player trying to help the other player out, and in the end, they lose as a team.
What did I say?
Baron
You win
started.
together, you lose together. That seems to be the mantra right now, but they're not giving up, and that's the best part about this one. Out goes the sapling. There is the vision. There is the ultimate. Lock them down and see if we can get anything accomplished with this one. But Schönfire is going down so quickly. He's getting zoned by Biopen single-handedly. He's keeping him disinterested. The Baron's gone this time, secured by Why Not. No Poppy shenanigans this time. In with the flash moonfall.
Wow.
Ult onto the Corki in the backline. Moonlight Vigil is not enough. The sniper with the chakrams attached. All getting denied by a single Lulu shield. And how did nobody die?
Skimmy, I don't think I've ever seen a level 10 Lulu shield for more than an Ophelia Assault. But that's the place that Lemus is in right now. He's very poor, no damage. So this Baron gets started. Schönfire, good ultimate, but he just needs to ignore this Aatrox. He wants to get out of the chains. Doesn't proc his phase rush. I think that's the biggest thing here, Skimmy, is if Schönfire procced his phase rush, he could have gone to that Baron, but not meant to be. Still a good fight. A great ultimate from Benvi there. Hitting everybody, buying time, and a perfect flash from Lemus as well. Doesn't get tagged by the Moonlight Vigil. But yeah, just fizzles out into nothing. No kills found. Baron to Team Bliss.
Certainly is. Even harder now to try and take down Violet with the Summoner Cleanse as well as Mikhail's Crucible. How do you lock this Ashe down? They just run you down like this. I've got vision, I've got a target, and I've found a kill. Bot lane now the focus. Another dragon being picked up, and I mean, really, a comprehensive victory in the making here for Bliss, and it feels like time is ticking and answers are starting to run out here for Ground Zero.
Yep, they've picked winning lanes, and they've won their lanes, Skimmy. And Violet in a little bit of trouble.
Enough to force out the instant flash away to safety, receives the wild growth from Scott, and then turns around and becomes godlike. If you can get 10 kills, Lemus, then so can I. That's kill number 7, soon to be 8 as he receives the shield. But in comes Kiste with an absolute crazy package and burns the bot lane alive.
That was crazy. He just went in 1v4, 1v3 there, Skimmy, and he picks up 2 kills, and Why Not might be next on the chopping block. No flash for him. Schönfire cutting him off. Kiste, one more rocket will do it. Doesn't feel comfortable. But yeah, I mean, that's so much gold in Kise's pockets. That's going to be the 3rd item completed. Malignant for the Corki. We'll see what else he gets on base. And look, they did lose. They did lose some structures there, but that's probably the best case scenario for Ground Zero, putting 2 kills worth of gold in their main carry's pockets. Tien starts the fight, but the only damage threat is Lemus, who's got 1 item. He just tickles, and Violet turns around, laughs it off, feels confident. It's a perfect play from Team Bliss, but they just need to let this guy go. It's all good. He's worth no gold. He's useless, but they overcommit for that one little auto attack is what costs Violet his 1,000 gold bounty and a teammate's life.
It certainly did. As you say, Malignant's picked up then as a result of this one. And Kiste believes that this game is by far not over. There is more left in the tank. Goes the Ashe shot again, straight through the mid lane. But it splits apart the sea, and nothing is to be found on the other end of this one. But look, still a monumental divide between these teams in terms of gold. 8k is the difference to Bliss. They can really take as much time as they want. For this one, they've got a soul point to look forward to, a bit of siege with 6 stacks to acquire. If they can get inhibitor, I mean, the dances around these objectives become basically infinite.
Yeah, and we see Harry going for the same build with the Wit's End. The siege continues, Skimmy. Lots of damage coming out on the side of Ground Zero. Might need to hit up the fountain. The next wave is pretty far away, so they should be okay. But yeah, like I was saying, the Wit's End makes a lot more sense in this game, Skimmy, just because of how far behind Limus is, right? So the magic resist has good value, and the tenacity for the Renata ult, for the Renata slow, the Maokai slow. I'm not even sure if the tenacity affects Frozen Hard passive, but it might. But we do see the double Frozen Hard, Skimmy, so Shermfire happy to die, happy to let Tien continue with the aura, like we discussed, and yeah, the siege continues.
And it certainly does. And I think really, if they weren't strong enough already, I feel like that 2-item breakpoint for a lot of these champions is a little bit of a hurdle too far to try and overcome, right? So, Shojin now for Biopen, but that increases his DPS tenfold. If he gets stunned up against the wall, receives a bit of damage from Limus or above. He's healing, he's doing whatever he can, but it's not enough to survive. 5 members converging on the Aatrox. He will be shut down.
Yeah, he's very strong, Skimmy, but he's got no resist, especially no magic resist against this Corki. So those rockets, they pack a punch when it comes to the Aatrox, and that's a really good kill from Ground Zero because it sort of stops the tempo of the base. You saw for the past 2 minutes, they've just been hugging their inhibs. They're just sitting in the base, they're not farming jungle camps, they're not able to get any wards down. But now this relieves a lot of the pressure, this chokehold that Team Bliss had over Ground Zero has loosened.
It does. And it keeps us guessing. Yes, this looks like a foregone conclusion. It looks like a done deal. It looks like Bliss have taken command of this one. They snowballed, they're going to win. But Ground Zero continue to impress. They're saying, look, there are moments in this game, and it once again all falls upon Kisei's shoulders. I have to say, I mean, still, you're looking at Limus sorely lagging behind. He needs time, but time is just not easy to find, right? 1.5 items down. But it is all about Kisei having picked up that shutdown, having got the item spikes to try and match and actually eclipse that of Hayri. Can he be the difference maker?
I think he absolutely can, Skimmy, and very close to his 4th item. Might be the first champion in this game to hit 4 items, even though Bliss have an 8,000 gold lead. Corki might just be the strongest person on Summoner's Rift, and I guess the positive for Limus is, yes, he's very far behind, yes, he only has 2 items, but when Team Bliss see this, they're not building any armor, right? There's no armor items, there's just the 1 Tabbies and the Zhonya's on Diana, but everybody else has got Withstand, they're itemizing magic resist, so even though Limus is behind, he still does a decent amount of damage into this type of itemization.
Yeah, once upon a time, say Season 10 for instance, 2-item spike, that Moonlight Vigil would have won in 5, wouldn't it? Yeah. So yeah. He really wishes he's gone back a few seasons. Kraken Slayer wasn't a thing anymore, and he's sort of hit his true potential despite being 0-2.
Yeah, I think the biggest question here, Skimmy, is what do you do about this Dragon as Ground Zero? They don't have any control of the bot side of the map. They've just been playing to prevent the Baron from being taken, so they might just have to surrender the soul. Not the worst soul to give up. I'd say one of the lower value souls, right? It's the Mountain, it's the Infernal, it's the Hex deck that you're really worried about. But unfortunately for Ground Zero, you know, this means that the Elder is coming in 5 minutes, and that's not something you can give up for free.
No, that certainly is one. You have to go and contest and try and find any way, really, outside of your base to look to try and attend, because, yeah, by the time you're hitting Elder, that's all she wrote. With a comp built to do one thing, and that is wombo combo one shot, that would be a step too far. Why not? Full speed engage away, just at a range of the ultimate out of the Maokai, so Schoenfire unable to find what he's after. Good nice flash from the Ash shot.
Yeah.
Oh, Corki would have been dead.
Yeah, no Mikhails from Renata just yet, so that's a hefty cooldown gone. 5-minute flash, or perhaps 4 minutes with inspiration, but the Asholt's going to be come back up in a minute, and we'll see Violet fishing for Corki Asholts again.
It's good pressure all the time, right? You're keeping them interested in the mid lane, saying, look, we're 4v5, make a play happen. Bio, meanwhile, is continuing their good work in that bot lane, having exposed it only 5 minutes prior, saying there is a naked inhibitor now. If we continue to put pressure into top and bot waves, Baron isn't going to be that easy 50-50 like it was in game 1, right? It's going to be a case of if you do go for this Baron dance with us, you will lose something in the process, which is always the best makings of a checkmate.
Yeah, almost full build for Corki. We missed it, but the 4th item is done. In fact, he's even got a blasting one on top of it. We've got the package coming out, so it looks like Ground Zero want to make something happen on this timer. one thing you have to think about as well is the Aatrox Sterix gauge coming out, making him considerably more tanky. I don't think they're going to be able to get any easy pickoffs like they did the last time, but yeah, Team Bliss a little bit cautious of this package, surrendering control of the Baron Pit. We'll see what Ground Zero decide to go from here.
Pretty good timing as you highlight, right, with those item advantages. Sterix for Bio, as well as Violet now just picking up the Lord Dominics. So they've got the resistances from the Soul, but then the Shred from the itemization too. Should be as tanky as they need to be right now, as they all converge on the mid lane and say, this is where we do the battle. This is where we find the angle to run you down, because Violet is still ever so strong. He acts like a tank. He is the front line. He'll give himself vision with the Hawk shot and say, yeah, you better back away. Yeah, you better let me 1v5.
This package is timing out soon, Skimmy, so Ground Zero feel pressured to make something happen, but it's the flashes being all available on Team Bliss members. The package, he doesn't use it, times out,
It
Skimmy!
doesn't get used, he gets polymorphed, he gets caught out of position. That's a disaster, Fido. There is the wombo, and that is the combo, but yet to find the kills. Harry is low, and One-Up continues to pursue them. There is the Crescent, and there is the double for Violet. He is just so strong. He's hit double digits, there's the triple. Man is staring down a Penta, but Wino interrupts the party, says, you can settle for a quad. There's the ace. Let's end this game.
Yeah, Skimmy and Champ Select, we said that there wasn't a dedicated tank for Team Bliss. We didn't know who was going to be doing the frontline duties. It's not natural for Diana or Yasuo to do it, so Violet said, I'll be the tank. This Lulu shield makes me a god, and he just walks up forward, starts hitting you, and seemingly there's no response.
What an entertaining series either way, both going the distance for 30 minutes with similar comps, but an absolute shake-up here in Game 2. They had to snowball, they certainly did, and spoils will be shared here tonight. A single point apiece, which makes things exciting, given the fact that it doesn't really affect too much for the side of Ground Zero, but it does mean that Bliss and Ion are now tied in first at 7 points. We'll break down all of the action right after this.